I think you're on mute.
Sorry, here it is. I'm questioning. I'm dying. Thank you for telling me, Avi. I wish I was on mute all Shabbos.
You had to tell him.
Yeah, okay, so we're on Yudam and Aleph, right on the top. I apologize again for all this delay. Yeah, so Idmar, Omar of Nachman, Omar Shmuel, Mishum Reb Shimon ben Elazar. Chachamim tiknu lahem, right? As we know, a kesuba for if they get divorced or if they get, if he dies, so the Chachamim were masakin that a besula gets 200, and Amana gets 100. And they believed him, right? That if he said that he found a pasuach, then he's neman. So Gemara asks him, so if he's neman, so what did the Chachamim help with their takana? Right? Meaning, the whole point of the kesuba is so that the man does not get rid of his wife for no reason, right? So meaning they could he just wife and son. So, but if he could just taina, if he could just say that he has that oh, she wasn't a pesach basur, so what did it help with the kesuba? What was the takana? So Amarava chazaka enodim terech seuda mafsida. No, it's a chazaka that a person is not going to work hard and make a whole seuda for Shabbos and then lose out. Right? Meaning what's he doing this Shabbos? I mean, for the chasana, right? And he's going to be machbiach, and then he's just going to throw all that garbage. That can't be. Right? So Amarava chazaka enodim, right? So chazaka enodim terech seuda mafsida. Fine. Tana hoyel v'knas chachamim. And then the Tana hoyel v'knas chachamim who. Since this is a knas.
Where are you now? Where are you?
I'm on Yudam and Aleph around 7 lines down. Tana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down. Yeah. The Tana hoyel v'knas chachamim who. Since there's a knas from the chachamim, you only get it. You only take from these ziburis. Now there's three levels of fields. There's Idius and Ziburis and there's Baininus. Idius is the best, Ziburis is the cheapest, and Baininus is obviously in the middle. Even though, let's say you owe somebody $100, so you can collect it from a good field, but obviously a small amount from a good field, or you could collect it from a bad field, but it'll be a larger field, right? So even though at the end of the day the payment is the same, but it's expected that a person would rather a good field with a smaller amount than a large field with a cheaper field with a larger amount. So, but since it's just a knas, so therefore he can give the cheapest field if he wants. So Gemara says knasa, my knasa. What's the knas of the kesuba? Kesuba is not a knas. Since it's a takanas chachamim, you can only collect from zibaris and that's it, right? Meaning that since the kesuba is at takanas chachamim, so you only have to do it from the cheapest. So that's the first sheet. The first sheet that holds that a kesuba is at takanas chachamim, that a person doesn't just divorce his wife easily. Right? Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer kesuba is isha min Torah. No, he disagrees. He says the kesuba is from the Torah, which we'll see. Reb Shimon Gamliel, did Reb Shimon Gamliel really say that kesuba is from the Torah? But Tanya kesef yishkol kamayar besulas, that it says that the person has to take. This is talking about where somebody was mefata a girl, where he coerced a girl. So there he has to pay 50 coins. Well, it doesn't say 50, but that's what we're going to learn out. It says kesef yishkol. He has to pay like the amount that you have to pay for a besula, which means sheyezeh kamayar hapsulas, right? That the knas that the person has to pay is like the amount that you give to a besula, right? Which is for rape, which is 50. Umayar absulas kazeh, and we learn out that Mayar absulas is like this. That what mikan some chachamim the ksubas isham and Torah. So therefore, because of this sort of gezerah shava, right? So therefore, it's there's simach that the ksubas isha is from the Torah. Shimon Gamliel Omer ksubas isha ain't a midivrei Torah, ela midivrei seifrim. So the ksubas isha is not from divrei Torah; it's only from it's midrabanan. So you see that here, Reb Shimon Gamliel says it's Rabbanon. The Gemara just said he says Daraisa. So, I mean, Peretz is not on, but Peretz's favorite Teretz is Eipach. Switch the opinions, right? So we switch the opinions. So the Gemara says, the aftas besraisa Eipach b'kamaisa. Who says which Reb Shimon Gamliel's opinion we changed? Meaning we're saying that he holds it's Daraisa, and you have to change the Brisa. Maybe he holds it's the Rabbanon, you have to change the member that we just said. No, we have a proof that Rav Shimon Gamliel held that the kesuba of Anisha is daraisa. You give her money from the money of kapaitkia. Now kapaitkia was a city or a government where the coins were worth a lot more than in Eretz Yisrael. So if he's saying that you have to give coins from kapaitkia, so obviously he holds it's daraisa because you have to give from the best, right? So so that's what we're saying. So therefore we have a proof that he holds it's daraisa. Therefore we have to swap out. We have to swap out the opinions in the Bryce. Piba is saying, well, or we could say a different teretz. Cooler of Shimon Gamliel, the whole prices of Shimon Gamliel. There's something missing from the Mishna, right? From here, the Chachamim said that this kesuba is in a Torah. Kesuba is almana, ain't a Torah, elam divrei seifrim, and the kesuba for an almana is the rabbanon, not deraisa. Shimon Gamliel Omer, kesuba is almana, ain't a divrei Torah, elam divrei seifrim, because the kesuba of an almana is not from the Torah, only midrabbanon. Fine. So that's it. So the bottom line is it's a machlokes whether kesuba is deraisa or not. Fine. Amud also look made Rav Nachman. So there was a fellow that came from Rav Nachman. Amalei pesach matzua matzasi. He says, I found the pesach matzuas. Pesach matzuas. Amalei Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman told him, Asbu kufri. Give him knock. The kufri means palm branch. Hit him with palm branches. Why? Because mavrachta chavitale. He's going to be sleeping with the mavrachta, meaning the mavrachta is the Zionist. How does this guy know? A single guy just got married, right? Just got married. How is he supposed to know? Must be he's used to going to Zionist, and therefore he what do you call it? He so therefore Rav Nachman says that he's believed. The Gemara says, yeah, Mehaman, who must be in like Kufri, he's believed, but we still give him malkos because he's such an educated type of guy. Right? Fine. Rabbi Chaim,
isn't the issue that he's getting malkos for Layi Kodesh?
I don't know if it's, I mean, the Chachamim, like we learned, well, there's a Toisis. Yeah. But I thought because he
Don't you need witnesses also?
What do you say?
Doesn't he need witnesses also?
Yes, no, that's true.
He's only saying himself. First of all, you can't be your own witness. No, can't.
I don't think he's giving it to him out the din Marcus. I think he's giving it to him.
It was just like a comment, like he should get it because that's what happened.
He didn't say he gave him 39. He gave him a
patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taisus ends up saying Mishum Znus.
Yeah. Taisus first says he'll call Shemati Shem al Bas Yisrael. Right? And he wasn't saying that he actually, because there's a different shot to Rashi. Rashi was saying that because he must have started with Zionists. Taisus, at least in the beginning, is saying, no, is this guy a guy that slept with Zionists that he should know? How's he supposed to know? Right? Which is a little harder to understand than the Shakavatari. Right? Okay, well, whatever it is. So Rav Nachman gave him malkos because he misbehaved, and then they give him but he is believed. One is talking about a bacher.
How does it fit with the Gemara?
Yeah.
From a few days ago, it said that everybody, we said all those cities, everybody knew what to do. And it didn't say it was a Gnai.
Right. I hear that.
No, the Gemara is going to answer that later.
What that with Atiyah? Maybe
Yeah.
they just learned how to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I hear that's a good question.
Oh, but if they knew Atiyah, then there's no svara of Pesach Pesuach. There's no timer. If he's saying that I did it by Atiyah and Pesach Pesuach, there's steers to each other. This means he could be a Baki by Atiyah, but
Right.
he's still saying Pesach Pesuach. That's the chiddush.
No, what I'm saying, Gershon,
Yeah.
is without experience, how does a guy become a bucky? He didn't come from reading books. He's a bucky from action.
Oh, Samazai.
Yeah, so how the three blot ago didn't say give all these guys pets?
We asked that there. It's yeah. They had very good chassan classes.
Yeah. There's a Tshuva Ramosha where he says before a guy gets married, if he's really nervous, a couple days before the wedding, he's allowed to read up on books that explain exactly how to be boil. There's a Tshuva from Ramosha about that.
That
But
what
anyway.
the cussing classes came into? Cussing
No.
schmooze?
Listen, yeah, but he said even like secular things from what I remember. Yeah, fine. Rabbi Chaim Mishani Kamba Bacher Kabanasi. It's very simple. One is talking about a bacher. So by a bacher, we don't believe him, and you smack him because he was made his punah. By a nasa, you do believe him. Yeah, so comes out that how do you ever have a time of pesach b'such according to this sheet? You don't. You don't. If the only pesach, the time of pesach b'such is only a guy who's married, civic sheni or shlishi or whatever it is, right? Who doesn't look at R Gamliel? Says maybe Atiyah. Maybe the reason why you didn't find pesach b'such.
Could he kind of Pesach Pesuach if no dam came out?
No, that's dumim. That's Tina's dumim. That's
That's
something else.
that's so dumb.
Tina's dumim is more believed on, which we'll see. We'll see cases about that soon, right? So maybe you went in on an angle. Somebody's going in the dark, right? If he went in at an angle, and he found her open, and if he didn't go at an angle, it's gonna be closed. So maybe he went in at the wrong angle. That's what he tied it back to him. So therefore, he wouldn't be believed. He could down. This is what he amazing. Maybe somebody's got to mute these. If it's a little bit, the background's a little a lot of noise. So anyways, so Ikadam, right?
Always mute your thing. It's giving a feedback.
What?
Your thing is giving a feedback because yours is lighting up when.
All right. Fine. Ikadam, thank you. Ikadamri, Hachi Amarle. This is what he's saying to him. Sheva Amaziditi. So maybe you did it on purpose. Vakarta Ladosha Va'avra, and you ripped out the entire door and the threshold. Right? What's it compared to? The guy's walking in the dark. Hita b'mezid. If he went in on an angle b'mezid, matzah pesuach, he'll find it open. La'ita b'mezid. That's all. If he didn't lean it on purpose, then he's going to find it locked. That's another mashal. Then who doesn't come into Rabbi Gamliel by Rebbi? Rebbi, I was boiling, I didn't find dam. So she said to him, Rebbi, besula yisi. I was a besula. So I say seuda, bring me the sheet. Right? That meaning what or the clothing, whatever it is that you wiped yourselves with after the relations. They brought him the seuda, v'sharu b'mayim, the kibsu. He soaked it in water and he washed it. And then he found blood on it. Right? So Rashi says he found the blood on it because it was covered over with the bodily fluids, the zera that came out of him. Right? So Amarloi, Lech Zacha b'mekcha, he said, go be zeicher with with your purchase. So they believed her. So Amarloi Hunamar Brei the Rav and Prazikal Ravashi Anan Nami Never. So why don't we do this also? Every time we have a taina pesach besuach, we say there's no blood. So why don't we check? Amrale, they said to him, on Talmud Beis now, Giyutz shalanu kikiba shalahem. Our giyutz, right, which really means ironing, is like their washing, right? If you say neved giyutz mavrele chumrasa, and if you're going to say that we should do giyutz, then that's going to actually take away even the stains. Meaning their laundry was much stronger, right? So since it was much stronger, therefore it's not going to be effective because they'll wash away the zera and they're going to wash away everything. Which is it's interesting enough that comes into play in the 9 days, because what kind of laundry are you allowed to do? Right, so really, the only laundry you can't do is the gihutz, is the major laundry, but the shvacha laundry you really should be able to do. Lemaisa, we're knowing not to, but there's a whole diyun in the Ramah and the halachas of the 9 days about whether you're allowed to do this or not. And the same thing with on Cholamayid. Okay, so a little in Yonah Diyam. Fine. Second line down. Who does the kamedu Reb Gamliel bar Rebbi? Somebody came in front of Reb Gamliel bar Rebbi. Amarle Rebbi ba'alti v'lo mitzasi dam. I was barely didn't find dam. Amarle Rebbi adayin besulani. She said, I'm still a besula. Amarle neviu lishtei shvachas. I had another one of these interesting gemaras. Bring me 2 shvachas. Achas besula, achas beula. One a besula, one a beula. Haviulai. So they brought him 2 slaves, girls. Vaishivan al pi chavis shal yain, and they sat them down on top of a barrel of wine. Beula reicha noidif. So the beula, the reyach of the wine came out from her, meaning they smelled her breath, and because she was a beula, so therefore the smell of the wine went through her body up through her mouth. Besula ain't reicha noidif, but a besula didn't. So afzu, so then he went hashiva b'loy reicha noidif. He put her down on top of a barrel, and her breath didn't smell. Go be zaycha and your mekach. That's a wild Gemara, right? So this is going to take away his edus, right? This experiment. Yeah, that's what it seems. And also how exactly this works, I don't know. Anyways, the Gemara says, why didn't he just put her down on top of the barrel? Why did he bring 2 shvachas first? So Gemara Abishmila, he heard about a Gemara about it. But he never saw it actually in practice. The sovereign, he thought, the milsa shapir, he didn't really, since he only heard about it, he didn't actually practice it. So he says, first, let me do it with the shvachas. I don't want to just be mezalzel to Bnei Yisrael to do this, right? So therefore, he said, first, let me see if it really works. So he took 2 shvachas, who he didn't have a problem being mezalzel with, and he did the experiment. Once he saw it worked, then he put her down, and then memela that was enough to combat the tainas of the husband.
It's zilzul, but it's Torah.
What? No, but he first wanted to make sure. He wanted to make sure that he knew that the experiment really worked before he went to be mavazer.
It's not Torah.
Right? It is Torah, but so what? But he has to first make sure. Well, I don't know if this is science. Why is it?
I'm saying, why is it a zilzul in the bonus? If you're trying to get to the emes.
Yeah, but what happens if it doesn't work?
But then it's not. So it doesn't work. If you do something and it doesn't work, so that means you're over.
It doesn't say you're over. It was a zilzul.
If you, I don't know.
Yeah, I would think so. No, I think the whole thing is a zilzul. I don't understand the whole thing from the beginning, but certainly just to do it when you're not even sure the whole thing works.
Is this a case
Back me up there.
is the chacham saying? I'm asking. It's a zilzul. It's for sure a zilzul. Even the trying it, even if it does work, it's a zilzul.
Why, Torah?
Why should
So you know what you're doing. You don't experiment with people.
Why should you put a girl through that?
Right.
I don't understand how the shvachas work. La halacha, we say that a shivcha is not believed to say she's not a beula.
Yeah, I guess.
We do this with seuda. Well, you do this with seuda. It's not zilzul.
Well, she was mezalzel herself.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We do with the Saita.
right? And we don't know. So why is it not Zul
We know that she was Mizalzel herself.
We
don't
do
know that she
not.
was
Then why would we
Mizana.
do it? Then why would we do it?
We know there's Kinoi Vestira. We don't know she was Mizana.
Right.
Stira itself is a Zilzal.
She was alone with a man against her husband's wishes. That's for sure. We don't just say the husband wakes up one day and says the wife's Mizana. We have just actions. Okay, whatever it is. It's a
How did
Zilzal.
he get a Shivcha Besula? That we
No,
believe.
Gershon, it's not aid or something. It's just for an experiment. We could trust her. We could trust her for that, I think. Yeah.
And justify the means. The might say it worked.
Yeah. Fine. Hahu the asla kamed to Rebbi Gamliel Hazakin. So there was somebody who came in front of Rebbi Gamliel Hazakin. Hamalei Rebbi bi'alti b'lei mitzasi dam. I was boiled and I didn't find dam. Amrulai Rebbi mishpachas Durkitie ani. I'm from the family of Durkitie. Shein len light dam nida v'light dam psulim. They don't have dam nida. They don't have dam psulim. Father Gamliel krevaseh. So Rebbi Gamliel checked out her relatives and he found like she was correct, that she was a Durkitie. Go be zeiche in your purchase. Praised are you that you was zeiche to get somebody from Mishpachas Durkitie. Now, what exactly does that mean? What is my? So we'll get to that in a minute. But my Durkitie, what is Durkitie? Dar katua. It's a dar that's cut off. Why? Because if they don't get periods, then they're not going to get pregnant. So if you marry them, you're not going to have children. So therefore, you're not going to have children. It's going to
Wouldn't the wedding not be valid anyway, since he didn't know?
No, it must be you know about it.
He didn't, because then he wouldn't have went and said that she didn't bleed.
Right. No, what do you mean?
Durkitie.
If she knew there was Durkitie, then he wouldn't have expected her to be not bleed.
You mean he didn't know, so it should be a mekach tois?
Yeah, it should be baptized because he didn't know. Now she can't have kids.
Maybe she doesn't bleed often.
I don't know. It sounds like they never bleed. So you saw somebody say that it's not often?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
it says R explains this to me that a generation, since they do not reproduce properly. No.
No, we cut off. The Durkitie means cut off because they're not going to have any relatives because they can't.
There's an obvious problem with that. She is mi mishpachas Durkitie, so they do have children.
It says Naftali.
Yeah.
At the bottom, someone who marries a Durkitie woman cannot claim that the marriage should be annulled on account of the serious defect which she is unaware, because even a Durkitie woman can eventually conceive.
Where do you see that?
11 on the bottom. It is just not as easy
Okay.
as it is for a woman with regular menstrual Yam Shel Shlomo. He brings
I didn't see that.
I hear. Okay. I hear that. Interesting. Okay. Very good. Fine. So Amar Rabbi Chanina, Tanchumim shall Hevel Nichamu Rabbi Gamliel Isayish. He gave him Tanchumim of Hevel. Meaning he said Ashrecha that you married a Durkitie, but it was baloney. The Tanya of Chiyah Kashem Shasar Yafalisa, the same way Sar is what do you call it? Yeast is good for dough. Kach Damim Yafim Leisha. So blood is also good for a woman. A woman who doesn't get periods is not going to have an easy time getting pregnant. Right? If a woman has a lot of blood, then her kids have a lot of blood. And this is true, Bisman Hazeh. There's something called PCOS, right? Which PCOS, where the women do not get regular periods. It's the number one thing that causes infertility, and that's the easiest one that's rectified. But if they don't get periods so often, then it's very hard to figure out when they're ovulating. So that's what he's saying. So anyway, so he told him. So if we know that these people have a hard time conceiving, obviously, like Gershon said, they can conceive, but it's not simple, because otherwise you'll never have it, right? So, but it can't be that it's a good thing that he married one of these ladies. Yeah.
It's not fair to quote me when it's the Yam Shel Shlomo. You just quoted the Yam Shel Shlomo.
Right. Okay. I didn't know the Yom Shel Shlomo, so I heard it from you. So, right. Okay. So very good. So Idmar of Yirmiyah bar Abba Omar, Zocha b'Mekcha, Omar Le. He said to be Zocha with your Mekcha. From Yosef bar Abba Omar Nischayev b'Mekcha Omar Le. He said you're Chayev with your Mekcha, meaning it's a bad thing. It's not a good thing. Fine. So Bishlam the man Omar Nischayev Hainu Reb Chanina. Then we understand what Reb Chanina was saying, that that it was not a true nechama. El lamandam zacha, but according to the mandam who says bizaycha my schusa, right? What kind of schus is there? The loyalty they suffix nida, so that's a wild terrorist because they don't get periods. So he's not going to have suffix nida. There's never going to be nida shilas. So there's never any nida shilas, and then at least he's not having nida, not any suffix nidas. Right? That's pretty wild, right? Pretty wild. That so that's why it's praised. Right?
That posture according to the Yom Shel Shlomo, because what does that mean if they sometimes have?
Yeah, but l'chara they have it less. They have it less. The less periods she has, the less fakers there are, right?
Right.
Yeah. So who does look at the Rebbi? Amrle Rebbi be'alti v'lo mitzasi dam. Amrle Rebbi adayim besula yisi. Shnei b'shava, and it was a year of famine. Ra Rebbi shepneim shchayrim. So Rebbe saw that their faces were dark because they were starving. Tiva alein, v'chnisum l'merchutz. They commanded that they bring them into the bathhouse, right? V'achilum, and to feed them, v'ishkum, and give them to drink. V'chnisum l'cheder. So they did that, and they brought him into a room. Baal u'matzadam, and then he found dam. Amar loi lech zacha b'mecha go b'zacha in yemekach kari Rebbe alein sofad oyram al atzmam yovesh haya ka'etz. That their skin was stuck to their bones and they were dry like wood, right? So therefore, a little food and a little this made them more moisturized, and therefore, then she saw dam. So it comes out that she was a besula. Fine. So, in case, yeah.
Is the point of this whole Gemara that when someone goes to a Rav, even if he makes a statement, the Rav is supposed to take it as a shaila?
Well, he can statement all he wants. If he's wrong, say he's wrong.
Well, but if the statement makes her usher to him, then that should be the halacha. How does the Rav have reshus to take it as a shaila?
What do you mean? A guy can come say a statement. I get it all the time. I get people that tell me all sorts of statements. Then they ask a shaila based on the statement, and the statement was wrong. Right? So, I would tell you, when I get off this, I see the questions because I'm on my phone, keeps flashing across my phone. I can't even tell you how many people think that they can't go swimming in the 3 weeks, or they can't go shopping for cheap things in the 3 weeks. Right? It's just, that's the way it is, and they just assume. So they're just asking, can they still do it tonight? I mean, you can do it tonight and tomorrow and the next night. Right? Anyways. Zog the Mishna, yeah? So besula, ksubasa masayim. A besula, her ksuba is 200. V'amana mana. And
Yaakov.
Yeah.
Yaakov, send out a picture.
You got to take a screenshot.
Send the picture of Jesse. No.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Take a screenshot. That should be your answer to any swimming shilas.
That's very good. Very good. Yeah.
Tell me if you're learning Torah.
He's special hat. I gotta take a picture of me in the pool. Jesse, you want some company?
I think that
Anytime
if
you
you
want,
posted
Rebbi.
that picture, I'll have more questions going on and more about what's going on then.
Rebbi, anytime you want.
All right, we'll see. All right. Fine. So besula again. So zog the Mishna. Besula ksubasa masayim almana mana. Right. Besula almana grusha v'chalutza. But let's say you have a besula who's an almana grusha chalutza, meaning her husband died right after they got married. So mina erisin. So if it's from erisin, ksubasan masayim, their ksuba is still 200, even though they were married. She was married. I'm sorry, but since she is still a besula, it's her ksuba is 200. Yeshan tainas besulim.
Wait a minute. She was a besula. Is a besula? I mean, they never had beer, never had relations with her.
They never had beer. Yes, they never had beer.
Let's say he had beer, but he was atah. He did it with. So is that considered?
How you gonna know?
She has besula.
I can tell you that I had a couple of crazy cases. One last year, 4 months after they were married, she saw dam besulim. All of a sudden, after intercourse, she saw a ton of dam. I said, go to get checked out. And it was dam besulim. Just for whatever reason. I said, did you having regular intercourse? Did you going any further than ever before? No. For some reason, the besulim didn't break for 4 months. 4 months.
Maybe the besulim were further back.
I don't know. That was a weird case. And then I know a guy who was married for quite a few years.
Was it painful? You said it wasn't painful, nothing?
No. As far as I remember. There was a guy, Nebuch, who was married a bunch of years, and then I forgot it. She died. They never had beer. They were never able to. So yeah, whatever. So
how long was he married for?
I don't remember. A weird amount of time. Yeah. So anyway, so there is possibility that somebody could be a besula, even though she's remarried. Okay. So Zogdi, my almana. What is an almana? Now that doesn't mean what is an almana. We know an almana is a widow, but what is the source? Right? So Amar Rav Chana Bagta almana al shem mana. We call her almana because almana, because she gets 100. Which, when you think about it, right? That's a weird name. That's a weird thing to call. Oh,
we always think of it as a negative, and it's just a figure of money.
Right, exactly. Oh, never. She's an almana. She's only getting 100. Right? You're 100% right, David. It'd be a very interesting. It's a very interesting thing.
What does your Simon mean? They get 50?
I don't know. I don't know. So that's an almana. So almana min ha'erisin ma'ikel ha'meimer. What happens if she's an almana from ha'erisin? Meaning, so she's going to get 200, right? So I skipped the last line of the Mishna. I think I started saying it, but didn't explain it. V'yesh antanis besula, meaning if she, which is a big chiddush, meaning even though she was married, if she comes out of that marriage and says, I was never. As unfortunately, we also find that with these cases where Nebuch, they get divorced after a month or so, 2 months. When you hear these stories, a lot of times she's still a besula, right? So if she comes out of that, the next husband that marries her could say, hey, she's not a besula, right? Even though you think, 1 second, well, she was married, so maybe they taka had beer, right? Okay, whatever it is. So what about Almana from Erison? One answers, I did the karali almana, nami karali almana. Once you're calling one an almana, you're going to call the other one an almana. So Gemara says, almana diksiva by raisa ma'ikil meimar. What are you going to say about an almana that says in the Torah? Meaning, if we're making up this name because of mana, so then how can the Torah say almana, right? So when I answers the Torah called it based on what's going to be in the future. So when it says because of krala asid, do you have a pasuk in the Torah that's based on what they're going to call in an almana in the future? So when I answers in the siv v'shema nar ashlishi chidekel, the third river that coming out of Gan Eden was called chidekel, who ha'ilach kidmas Ashur, that went to the east of Ashur, right? The Tanur of Yosef, Ashur zu slika, right? So Rabbi Yosef says that Ashur is slika. Was this city really there? Ella dasida, it's going to be in the future. Hachanami dasida. So you see that it is based on the future. Then we'll go through a few agadatas here. The same Vamar Rav Chana, the same Amoira. Vamar Rav Chana, Motor Mashka. Rain gives it waters and it makes it has heavy rain and it softens up the land and it fertilizes and it gives strength to the grass. What's the pasuk? It says so it basically makes everything. That's just an explanation of it's really the pasuk where we got the words before that it makes everything soft and it makes things grow. The mizbeach takes away averus and it feeds people and it makes Yidden close to Hashem, and it gives kapara. So when it says Hainu Mechaper, Hainu Maziach, one is kapara and one is it takes away Averis. Isn't that the same thing? Maziach Gezeirus and Mechaper Avoinus. No, the Mizbeach takes away Gezeirus and Mechaper Avoinus. Fine. That's the second thing that he said. Timri, dates, Mishachnon, and Masban. It makes you warm and it makes you full. Mishalshalan, and it makes you have shilshul, right? Like diarrhea. And Ma'ashran, and it gives you strength. V'loy mefankan, and it does not make you a mafunik. Right, meaning it's not going to make you that you're going to need all these. Meaning, if you start eating fine foods, it's going to not make you have that. So Amarav, Achal Tamarim, Al Yora. Somebody who eats Tamarim shouldn't paskin. Right? Why not? So Rashi says because when you eat a lot of them, it makes you a little cuckoo in the head, and then you can't paskin. Right? So Meisvei, so they ask the kasha Tamarim Shachris V'Harvus Yafas. Tamarim to eat it in the morning is good. The mincha rise, but to eat in the afternoon is bad. But zarayim, but in the afternoon, meaning before mincha, ain't kamoisan. There's nothing like them. Umavatal is shloisha devarim, and it is mavatal three things: machshava ra, bad thoughts, the chaylemayayim, and what do you call it? Digestive issues, the tachtonios and hemorrhoids. So whatever it is, so what do you see? That it is good for you, and all these lists of the good things and the bad things. It doesn't say it doesn't say that any of them it makes you cuckoo in the head. So they want to answer me. Amrina Deloy Malu. Does it say that it doesn't help? Iluye Malu, it does help. Well, if he shot the tirda, and for according for that hour, it makes you cuckoo in the head. Midi dahava chamra, just like wine. Damar mar hashoysa revius yain al yoyre. Somebody who drinks the revius of yain should not pass it. Right, which is mamish in Yom Diyama for me, because now that I missed all the havdalas, I'm gonna have to make havdalah myself, which I don't usually do. So I hope they have grape juice because I got about a million texts to answer after this is over with. So, yeah, if anybody wants to come and be mitzvah me, people is saying, but like kasha, hamakami nama, halabasa nama. One is before you eat the bread, and one is after you eat the bread. Damar Abaya, Amrli aim, right? As we had many times, Abaya's mother, which wasn't really his mother. Used to tell him all these medical things, right? So, I'm sorry, Amrli aim, Tamri Mekame Nama, taking dates before eating bread is like taking an axe to a decal, to a palm tree. Basa Nama, Ki Avra Ladasha, but if it's after eating bread, it's like putting a bar like on a door, and it's gonna be good. Dasha. So what is dasha? Why is the door considered a dasha? Amarava derech sham, because it's a derech to go there. Darga, right? So what about the word darga? That's a ladder. Amarava derech gag, it's the derech to go to the gag. Purya, a bed. Amara papa shaparam v'ravin alein. So you have pruravu on a bed. That's how you end up being kind of the midst of having kids. So Amar Nachman bar Yitzchak. Anu nemar islandis duchrona de lo yolda. An islandis is a duchronis. I'm sorry, is a ram that can't have a baby. Right, so that's where the word islandis, right? So that's meaning it's something that is grown. That's a ram, but it can't have kids. Okay, I'm sorry for starting so late. I wish everybody a good tvach and a meaningful fast, as they say out there.
What time tomorrow?
I have no idea. What time are the minchas?
No idea. Let's leave Kaplan on that.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock is the minchas? So